kill people very quickly. I guess that's what you can do together.
Certainly so, as a little flash of the scorp there, but it is Lee Sin instead here for closer up against the Hecarim. Jace instantly banned away from Summit.
Understandable, thank you. We have seen the terror of Jace if you watch Lorlo's stream, or you can see his Gnar into Jace just yesterday and how he slammed that one too.
And no Trinimir either. Ssumday gonna lose that one. Nah, yep, get him out of there.
Get all this out. Just as long as it results in a cool matchup, I don't care. There's also interesting with the closer Lee Sin. I'm excited to see that combined with the Ahri. That's a very aggressive mid-jungle combination that they're going to kind of throw the gauntlet down on Fudge.
It's a classic of League of Legends. I mean, those JVs haven't changed that much.
No, I mean, you've been playing this since Season 3, Season 2, whenever that started, yeah.
All right, Thresh Band instead here. I like that as well. Obviously, a great pairing with the Jinx, who he perfectly proficient on the champion, but I'm going to guess if I am 100 Thieves, I'm giving Ssumday the old counter pick here in this particular game. And I'll take something like Leona, because Huhi, anything that goes in, thumbs up from Huhi.
Yeah, with the Thresh band, you already kind of also mean that's not going to get paired up with the Aphelios. So it's kind of a self-ban a little bit as well, because they can't take the Thresh, but then that also means they can take the Leona and not be scared of the Thresh. So Cloud9 instead going for Alistar for Winsome. Interesting.
You don't see Ali too often, but see how it works out in this one. Obviously not the strongest 2v2 lane.
Well, they got abused by it in the TSM game last week in lane phase, so maybe Winsome played against and he's like, wait a minute, this is Alistar champ. Not so bad when you get to go in all the time.
All right, well, Graves seems to be a popular blind.
Oh, no. At least the Gnar's banned, so he can't get Graves Gnar, but Summit taking a safe blind pick here. Understandable that he doesn't want to, just opt straight into a skill matchup out of nowhere, but we'll see what Ssumday wants to do, because Ssumday is a team-focused champion.
Do it.
I hope he does.
Yes!
Oh, they did! I was so worried. Ssumday, great player, great team-focused player, but sometimes you want him to say, give me the rock, give me the ball, I want to make a play. And he doesn't always do it. So to see him actually lay down the gauntlet against Summit, who a lot of people are saying is potentially the best top laner right now. You have Bwipo, you have Summit, you have Ssumday, all trying to make a name for themselves. This is how you make a name for yourself, by slamming the other top dogs.
And realistically, like, what else are you supposed to pick here? Like, Ahri's more of an enabling champion. Jinx and Leona is all about, the mid to late game. And yeah, closest Lee Sin's great, but like, it's not going to take over a game. Like, Hecarim is more of a viable jungle carry than someone like Lee Sin.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an early mid-game oriented draft for 100 Thieves with a lot of playmaking in all three lanes, and closers kind of going to have a feast to choose from, a buffet of where do I want to try and find kills. And the onus is on them to find those kills, because I think mid to late game, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially if you're doing kind of straight front to back team fighting. You're going to be looking for flanks in mid to late game for 100 Thieves, trying to blow up that Aphelios. You have so much dive potential, but if you start falling behind, you have no way to really play slow. So many melee characters, so many characters that want to go in, means that 100 Thieves are kind of all in on making some plays.
Certainly so, and as always, our eyes will be drawn to the top side of the map. Very nice to see Ssumday on a carry with the counter pick in this matchup. Now look, I am not intimately familiar with Graves versus Irelia as a top lane matchup. I'll be the first to admit it. But I'm assuming if you're getting counter pick, surely you cannot also win this lane. Little production jump scare there, huh?
Yeah, I
like it.
I was ready to follow up on an analytical point, and they're like, hype train coming through. Shut up, Mark. Look at this awesome music and light show. All right, back into the game already. I was just going to say that Irelia, with the changes that came in with her W recently, not just being such a magic-focused champion, does a lot better against physical range threats as well now. And so you can blow the Graves up if you can, just get on top of him, land one of those stuns, and get a couple Q charges off. But early game, not probably going to be the case. It's one of those matchups, kind of like we were saying earlier with Camille Gnar, where you want a couple levels before you really, activate that kind of counter pick.
All right, well, looks like 100 Thieves just chilling, making sure C9 don't get too aggressive in the early game here. But Cloud9 are holding firm just outside this entrance, but no wards have been committed just yet.
See if they want to go for the invade. They do have a range advantage with the Graves being able to potentially push some people back. Starts with a slow. This is a really nice chunk early on.
Oh yeah, that's big damage on the Abbeddage. And gonna get the ward as well. Yep, Summit is gonna get some vision. And even just stick around. I mean, Ssumday's here, but it's kind of annoying for closer if he has to deal with this 1v1. Thankfully, his top lane is here alongside him, and Summit knows what's up. Not gonna poke too far forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you kind of want to do when you have these range advantages early on. Look for those micro advantages like we were talking about in the TL game. Now make it hard for Ssumday to get through lane, actually has to run through you. Ssumday plays it correctly. Jump on top of him. Don't let him do this like footsie game with you where he plays the range advantage. And because you get into the brush when you do that, it means that he can't kite you out of the brush because then he'll lose vision of you. So well done by Ssumday getting into the lane there, showing his veteran understanding of how the game will play.
Ooh, Winsome tried to predict there, but Huhi actually just airballed that Zenith played. But I do like the attempt there for Winsome, trying to keep Huhi honest here in the early stages of this one. As is always the case with Leona, you do not get out once you go in, and hey, look! Berserker going to get attacked here, but nice little trade back for Winsome there as Berserker going to let some shots rip into the enemy support.
Definitely a advantageous matchup for the Leona early on. You get a little bit tankier, easier than the Alistar does. If you go in right away, you do have to be careful about getting knocked up and chain stunned and whatnot, but very, very easy for you, especially taking the Aftershock, prioritizing individual tankiness over the, I missed something? The Glacial Augment.
Nah, just, I couldn't tell if it was a sideways compliment or a backhand one. It was a real mid laner and Abbeddage was called.
Definitely an insult at Abbeddage, saying that Fudge, the role swap mid laner, is the real one.
And honestly, like, that's something that we kind of forget about because, you know, at this point, Fudge is just a mid laner at this point, but he was very good at top lane. So for C9 to be like, you know what? I think we can do better. And also, I think you can be good at mid lane is quite a bold move, but Summit's certainly paying off Fudge's role swap in that regard as well.
Yeah, I think also Fudge's game yesterday was really good on the Ahri, finding a lot of kills, finding a lot of setup, putting him in a more traditional mid lane matchup. Ahri is still a more proactive champion, not quite the zone control focus of control mage, which I think speaks to his playstyle. Even Ryze top was meta for a while. I'm sure, you know, Fudge has played Ryze somewhat, not the specific mid lane matchups necessarily, but understanding the champion, how to play him, how to side lane with him in the mid to late game are things that, you know, you can kind of carry over from the role swap.
Well, back down to the bottom side of the map, it is FBI and Huhi continuing to get ahead early as expected. Has been pretty quiet for the junglers, which is definitely going to be a good time for Blaber, but Closer really doesn't mind too much. There hasn't been a whole lot happening. You know, Fudge is getting some push happening, Summit's getting some push happening, but Underneath dancing back on the bottom side. Top lane looks like some fireworks. Ssumday getting aggressive. W Pop's going to force the flash.
Summit ending up on the wrong side there. I wonder if there was a fake recall I might have missed that was why he was on the flip side of the Irelia trying to kite down. But nice flash force by Ssumday, already getting that advantage in your pocket. Like we said, it's just going to become more and more threatening as the lane phase goes on, especially with Closer now knowing, aha, no flash top. I know where I want my first ganks to go.
Yep, even Fudge actually roaming up here is going to get spotted, but Closer's also here. This is a 2v2 the 100 Thieves might not mind, but I do like Fudge's early presence.
It's a little scary given that Ssumday has not got his reset off yet. You're behind on items and current HP, so I think 100 Thieves are going to slow play this one and kind of waste Fudge's time.
You can see Ssumday not getting too aggressive, Wing the minion. Actually doesn't even connect with too many of them. Just trying to keep the wave low, but leave C9 lulled in if they do want to get aggressive, and Fudge completes the recall, mostly just covering there, it looked like.
Yep, getting his reset off now. Ahri as well getting the reset, TPing back to lane. Fudge looking like he's going to just hoof it.
Yeah, Blaber was there briefly as well, so, you know, a little bit of continued role swapping there for Fudge. Just trades back, jungling slightly there as Blaber takes the mid farm, but at the end of the day, just a nice little exchange here as Summit, more than anything, just needs coverage here to keep pushing on because he wants to be aggressive. Bottom side, though, it's aggressive. Blaber going through. FBI absolutely dead, and it's first blood out for Winsome.
All right, showing the power of the Alistar there, being able to just flash on top of a person for an instant knockup and then get the kill. Well done by Winsome there, and attacking one of the few places that 100 Thieves are more vulnerable in the early game. The Jinx has no protection, not just in the lane phase, but for this entire game. No one will ever be able to keep this Jinx alive as she starts falling behind and keeps getting dove atop of like that.
Yep, and FBI had flash, and it just didn't matter as Ssumday running low on mana, hasn't TP'd back, by the way, so Summit is like, what are you doing? I have a Phage and you have a shield. I'm happy to win this fight, but Closer is the reason that Ssumday is getting so aggressive. The stun connects. Closer with the easiest Q of his life, but can't quite get the kill just yet. Ward hops over Summit. Good ulti, but Closer follow flashes. That's the kill for the 100 Thieves jungler.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's doing. He's baiting Summit into overstaying. Now Abbeddage in trouble.
Beautiful wrap here in mid though, but Abbeddage with a very fancy flash to get to safety.
All right, Blaber answering the call. One thing I love about Blaber's champions is sometimes whenever he plays these things, I'm like, oh, they take a little bit earlier to get going, or they're not great
heavy.
Yeah, they're farm heavy. They're not great gankers in the early game. Blaber is still always able to find plays. He is one of the best early game junglers North America's ever seen. I would argue the best, because of this reason. On champions that you don't always find opportunities so early into the game, whether that's because he works well with his laner setting that up, finding these angles, or just being willing to take riskier fights, Blaber always finds a way to impact the early game.
Yeah, feels like a combination of both. Definitely in this game, credit to both Winsome and Fudge for helping set up those situations that got them a kill in bottom lane, got them first blood in fact, got some pressure there for Fudge, who's still feeling pretty good.
It's important that they do this too, because we're talking about 100 Thieves probably having the better early game playmaking team, being able to, have a little bit more control early on potentially, and not backing down, not just saying, oh, well, we'll just try and scale and withstand it, but like we're going to find our own opportunities when we have the time to. So good job, like you said, by the laners of C9 as well, not just playing scared of this potential Lee Sin pressure or whatever.
Yeah, I think people, think scaling and they immediately think time, but scaling really means gold, right? You're capped by how much money you have, because items are expensive when they're late game items. But if you just get gold early, Mark, it's easy peasy.
Yeah, just get more gold, forehead.
Exactly.
Very good advice by PastryTime. As we see, Flash still not up for Summit, and you can see he's just trying to push the wave in and back away. Definitely a little scared. Looks like Ssumday is rushing the Blade of the Rune King first item, which makes a lot of sense. You take some harass in the matchup, you get to sustain a little bit better, as well as a lot of damage when you get multiple Q procs in a row. Really can rip through a health bar quickly. So that's probably what he was greeting out for, was a better purchase. Ends up going Double Dagger Vamp Scepter, but maybe he was looking for a different part of the build.
All right, well, Closer continuing to be active here. Sneaking through mid. Abbeddage over a ward is going to tip off Summit in the top half of the Rift. But maybe trying to double work here in the Fudge. Abbeddage again spotted. Closer, I don't think was seen on that ward.
Yeah, Closer might not have been, but Abba was.
Yeah.
So you can just see that both teams have done a good job of warding out where they think enemies are going to try to get to. There was that time where Fudge made that roam up top, and Ssumday kind of baited that situation out. Now they're trying to sneak this Rift Herald, going over the pit, and just let people keep playing.
Oh, no, they're going for top. Almost finds it there. Good ult from Ssumday, but Closer doesn't connect on the Q.
Observer's messing with me too now.
Abbeddage, though, now in trouble. Blaber's got ulti, kicks him back. Abbeddage low, Huhi diving back in. Blaber forced to ulti out, and Closer follows the Q and shuts it down. Fudge now trying to get out there. Wilmot out to safety. A neat little trick for 100 Thieves, still with the kill.
Huhi getting there just slightly faster than Winsome. Both teams having the exact same idea, but that extra bit of CC and damage allowed them to finish off Blaber, but C9 might not be done yet.
Yeah, Fudge gets the blue, but at what cost? Charm there onto Winsome. Doesn't have the ulti, popped it already. And now the ulti out from Jinx isn't going to connect, but Winsome's still dead. No, not yet. Berserker lets it rip, and Summit turns it back around, finds himself a double kill. A third there goes to Fudge's. C9 sweep through 100 Thieves.
I thought C9 were crazy sticking around to contest that, even with Berserker moving in, but they actually want to contest one. Red buff on Summit makes it hard for FBI to take that fight. Both end up backing away there, but C9 showing that they're not going to get bullied off these objectives. They wanted to take that fight. Berserker coming in late was so important. So here's the Huhi getting there first in the play. I don't know if they saw that he snuck in there. Might have been just out of range. Gets this CC and damage, even through Unstoppable, just contributing to that kill. Allows Closer to get that first one. And then Fudge, nice footwork there to make sure that the Realm Warp actually went off. And from here, I think they're stacking it, even though both AD carries are in the mid lane. I didn't think that they would actually re-engage this, but they know there's not that many abilities up left for 100 Thieves here, and Fudge critically does not get charmed there. Winsome tanks a lot of the damage and skill shots that were heading for Fudge with his ultimate on, so even though Winsome ends up living there, he played that to the absolute perfect amount, with like 50 health left, and it allows Berserker to get some damage over the wall, Summit to collapse. Super well done by Cloud9 to contest that one and actually grab a 2,000 gold advantage. Yeah, huge early game lead for Cloud9, which again is not the script we expected coming out of draft. It was 100 Thieves expect to be a bit more aggressive, but it is C9 with the early game advantage. Rift Herald though going to 100 Thieves, that is good news. As C9 are now trying to contest with this blue buff. Fudge already getting things pushing. C9 just taking over the side of the Rift, but Closer's coming through. It is going to be a 4v4 shortly.
Blue buff though, stolen by Blaber. Ulti out from Leona. Chums onto Winsome. Winsome ulti pops again. Blaber going back through. Winsome low, but the flash is out of the Jinx ulti. Now Blaber back through. Berserker takes out Huhi. It's closer. Lowers Berserker. Frontlining there for the team. Abbeddage with the gravity gun on, but will not be rooted.
Looked like they thought Winsome might not have had his ult yet. I think they were trying to see if they could get that kill before his ult came back up. Not able to do it. Winsome lives through that one. Maybe a missed timing on the cooldown of the Alistar ultimate, but another time where Winsome baits a lot of damage onto himself and allows his team to turn, and the gold lead just keeps growing for Cloud9.
Yeah, and obviously Summit feeling pretty good, get that double kill in the earlier exchange, but Berserker has been the other big winner of this now 3,000 gold lead that Cloud9 have. Still haven't dropped the Herald yet. Oh no, sorry, the other team has the Herald. Never mind, can't do that. It is 100 Thieves that will be able to use that to close some of the gap, but Gale Force done already for Berserker, who is just ready to take over on Aphelios once again.
Yeah, and Summit, with how the lane wasn't going great initially, has since recovered, grabbed a lot of kills, and got an early hull breaker, which is allowing him to actually grab control back in this matchup. You are going to have such a pushing advantage. You already have a small pushing advantage. Now it's substantially stronger, especially since Ssumday has slowed down a little bit on rushing that Blade of the Rune King. He doesn't really have that all-in threat until he really gets that because of how many resist and defensive properties come with that hull breaker.
And Huhi actually roamed up here, but Summit's kind of playing with him. Like, hit recall a couple times. Huhi's going to leave. Looks like Ssumday's going to reset as well, and Summit's back to business.
Yep, well done by Summit there, wasting a lot of time from the opponent. And what's really interesting right now is how flexible the lane assignments are. A lot of the time at this point in the game, 12 minutes, you would not see AD carries going mid. You would not see Ryze's bottoms, Ahri's bottom. But because you have 4 champions, each of the solo laners, being relatively safe in side lanes, you can get a lot of these interesting lane setups. And both teams have done an intelligent job adapting to that and respecting that. Because when your AD carries mid, it means that it's more likely that your support is going to end up in top lane or something like that. And I think Summit showed an understanding of, hey, this is a weird game. I got to be really careful when I push.
Well, 100 Thieves playing catch up a little bit. Still have plenty to lean on here. They have a dragon if they want to go and try and take it, but it is Cloud9's vision right now that takes over that portion of the map. It does seem like Cloud9, though, are lining up a play onto Ssumday, trying to support Summit in his pushing efforts in the top side of the map, but a lot of back and forth right now as 100 Thieves are poking around, trying to grab some gold back for themselves.
Yeah, a lot of ults and flashes have come back up since that Rift Herald fight. You see this kind of attempt to get some gold in Abbeddage's pocket. I like this because he's not hard losing on Ahri, but Ahri is a champion who's not going to do a ton of damage in the game. She's supposed to get kills and get ahead of the pace of the game and then build a lot more utility-focused items and, you know, the Everfrost, and you're going to rely on your playmaking to find kills rather than I'm going to blow you up 100 to 0 kind of situation. And so getting some gold potentially in her pocket, I think she was in range for that Rift Herald gold, is good to keep her moving. Probably going CDR boots, maybe pen boots. We'll have to see. Some people go the Shadow Flame, pen boots build. You can also go the cooldown reduction one, so we'll see what she ends up picking up here. But just making sure that your Ahri doesn't fall behind the pace of the game, because once she does, she just becomes a charm bot. She's totally ignorable, and so you're not trying to accelerate her ahead of the game. You're trying to keep her relevant right now, I think, with that Rift Herald usage.
Yeah, and you can see everyone needs gold 100 Thieves right now. You can see C9 topping the charts very comfortably there on the gold, and Cloud9 will go ahead and scoop up this dragon as Summit actually roams down to mid lane briefly. Abbeddage potentially in trouble. Good Everfrost though to defensively push Fudge away. But that is all the space Cloud9 need to finish off the objective. To the 100 Thieves' credit, looks like they weren't really going to contest anyway.
No, I think that they knew they were weaker at this point in the game. A lot of those boot purchases are pretty substantial, actually, when you're having multiple members with Merc Shreds and these things, and your team's still on tier 1s. It can actually be hard to chase down people and these kinds of things. So I think they just want to get a little bit further down their build pass before they take another fight against C9.
Summit, though, just going at it again, but not going to chase too far forward. Clearing the wave, getting some poke as Fudge will also answer here. It's just constant pressure in these side lanes. It's so annoying with how quickly Graves and Ryze push these minion waves that you just constantly feel like you're having to catch waves instead of, like, picking off the enemy, which is kind of what you want to be doing with your Ahri.
And I think that's a great adaptation by Cloud9 to get out of standard lanes as fast as they could. I think the AD carries were already in them like 11, 10 minutes into the game. You know, like, this is C9 understanding, like, we don't really want to just play a normal game where closers running around between the lanes trying to find kills. It's a lot more spread out of a map when you put your solo lanes in the opposite side lanes right away. It's harder to get around if you want to go, oh, well, let me try and get my Ahri up to my Irelia to make a play. Like, you can't do that now except with teleport. And so, in that sense, spreading the map out by Cloud9 was really intelligent, I think.
Yeah, and it's a little thing. We talk a lot about Summit's great mechanics. His end-of-line placement to kill the wave as soon as possible. It's a little thing. It's, I'm sure, something all the Graves players know, but it's a treat to watch because all the little minions just evaporate.
Yeah, they die pretty quick. Summit now calling some resources up here, wants to finish off this turret, but 100 Thieves are lurking around.
Well, they know, but now 100 Thieves know. Closer with a Q misses, but Blaber's here as well. Huhi FBI, though, on the other side, is it's going to be a 4v3 for 100 Thieves if they want to take it, but Cloud9 being very patient here.
I know you know, both teams know, and it favors the Graves who gets to sit in front of the turret and let the Hull Breaker do some damage there. Try and get some more chip down onto it. Should be able to take that one away quickly, so even though it didn't result in a kill or anything, still ends up a C9 advantage play.
Wow, we're out of there. Oh, goodness! All right, that's an angle I've not seen before. Ssumday going to be the target, but Summit's up here as well. But Blaber just gets deleted by Ssumday. Summit now stunned, 100 Thieves. This is what they were looking for. Abbeddage swoops in to get a kill. The Jinx rocket goes a little wide as Fudge will rescue Winsome with the Realm Warp, but that went south swiftly for Cloud9.
I do not know what Blaber thought he saw in that play. He thought maybe someone was in the brush and was trying to get on top of them right away, but he just whiffed his ultimate and then ended up between two turrets. Summit had not finished it off yet, and Closer was in position to punish that horrendous 2v2 that they just took. Bad timing for it too, because yeah, you finish off the turret, but this will allow 100 Thieves to get their second Rift Herald of the game. That's a pretty substantial gold deficit that they're in, but have been able to control these objectives and keep it close. Otherwise, Cloud9 potentially could have ran away with this game.
Yeah, some bounties for 100 Thieves to collect. You can see those glowing turrets in top and bottom lane. Actually, mid lane too. They're all available. 3 towers to 0 is nice for Cloud9. They did get the mid tower out of that exchange as well, but I mean, that looked like a gap close Hecarim ulti to me, which is a pretty rare one.
That's an interesting call, given that, you know, both teams had been around that area. I just went back and rewatched it. I think you're right that he was just trying to hop the wall and get on top of the Irelia, but
which he did.
He did technically, but he also allowed the Lee Sin to get on top of him. So just Blaber getting a little too aggressive. I was hyping up his proactivity in the early game and how aggressive he is, and then this is the other side of Blaber that comes with that. Sometimes he takes a fight maybe he shouldn't have.
All right, well, Cloud9 docked a couple points, lose a little bit of gold in the exchange. Are now only up 2,500 gold in this early game, but a small misstep, hopefully, for Blaber and the rest of Cloud9 as they look to take down the Thieves. As a reminder, these two teams are tied in the standings. It's a little wonky right now with who's in first because if one of our teams tied for first hasn't played their game for Friday yet. We'll, of course, see that today for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it's a really tight race at the top of the standings for the LCS right now. You can argue any of the 4 teams are at the top. I think a lot of people expect Team Liquid to be the best, but without Core JJ here, it's allowing a little bit more nuance to the conversation, who can join them as well. It's a super tight, interesting race at the top of the table for the LCS right now.
Yeah, and again, I think these two teams well and truly in the conversation for second. Obviously, winning here makes it a lot better as far as your chances for claiming higher standings goes.
Ooh, what's interesting here, objective bounties are available. Usually you see these a little bit later with a more substantial gold lead, but with the 2 dragons that Cloud9 got and a couple turrets in their favor already, 3, it's actually enabled these. So while the gold lead isn't super massive, they're actually going to get a lot of gold back in their favor now for 100 Thieves, cutting that down from about 2.5k gold lead to 1.5.
Yeah, almost 1,000 off there. Pretty good deal there for 100 Thieves. Charm on the Blaber, Everfrost follows. Winsome here with the counter engage. As Summit is the one in the shrubbery. Now Winsome going back through. It's Fudge rooting down Huhi, who's really caught out of position, but Winsome's ulti's going to wear off. Huhi does die. Winsome, though, is going to be the trade, so both supports down.
Huhi got me scared there with how far forward he went in, but he had the stopwatch. He knew what he was doing. He was buying space for the rest of his team there, able to trade out the supports. And a couple more ults used, it looks like, potentially. Actually, more used on the Cloud9 side. So 100 Thieves feel confident moving down and starting this Hex Dragon off.
Here comes Summit, though. TP's back instantly now, trying to run the pinch. Great little smoke screen there, but Ssumday's going to try and interfere. Now Summit steps forward there. Ssumday trying to go for the 1v1, but Summit looking decent. Abbeddage is going to go in with the flash. Doesn't connect the charm. Summit fighting, but Ssumday gets the end of that as Berserker runs down FBI. So now a 3v3 as Fudge is tying up the rest of 100 Thieves, and they're on the wrong side of the rift. Here's Winsome, Hex Flash in, locks up one only. Charm onto another. There is Huhi's joined with a Hex Cage back through, and 100 Thieves, I think they're turning it back around. It's Ssumday that gets him, but Berserker finds himself with yet another kill. Blaber and Nagadava going for it, but Berserker finds a double, make it 3 on the play at the end of it all as Cloud9 are going to win that exchange.
Cloud9 come out ahead, Hex Gates coming up big, though, for 100 Thieves. Huhi showing up, allowed FBI to get out alive. The Dragon's still up. Looks like that's going to go over to Cloud9. No way for 100 Thieves to contest this one. What a crazy fight that ended up being, and C9 are going to get back in the driver's seat of this game after stumbling a little bit from that top play. Onto their third Dragon already, getting up against Soul Point here. So this is the situation. The TP flank coming in by Ssumday. I thought this was a little aggressive because of how much mobility and playmaking there is on the side of 100 Thieves who just turn onto him. But he does a good job of kiting that out and allowing Fudge and Berserker and Blaber to find FBI. And he does enough damage back. Closer and FBI are getting chunked out. Berserker is just so aggressive on the Aphelios, just jumping in as much as he can, basically 3-hitting him while stacking those chakrams up. And once he dies, it's still a 3v3, but Fudge is so much healthier. Berserker so much healthier. They have to kite out. Here I thought, oh my god, it's a 4v3, but look at Huhi flying in from the Hex Gate, just coming in to try and contribute. Doesn't actually turn the fight around, you know, but still interesting to see how the different rips can affect how these fights progress, because otherwise I think Abbeddage would have been focused down and killed a little bit easier. This gets Closer and Abba out for the self-sacrifice by Huhi. Goes right back to the death chamber.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Gates are still open. Can go back in for a third round if he wants. It's like a max food fight. Like, up 200, back to 100, everyone back to 200. Huhi zooming on back in. Only boomers will get that reference.
I didn't get it. I wasn't going to say it until you mentioned it.
Unfortunate. It's okay.
My bad.
That's okay. Cloud9 still up. On Soul Point too, and this Soul's pretty good as it turns out.
Yeah, this will be pretty helpful for their team. They have a small range advantage, you know, so when you have these slows from the chaining lightning, allowing you to kite out 100 Thieves, dive a little bit better potentially, as well as just more damage and stuff. Feels pretty good, as well as the CDR on your item or your abilities. Ability haste coming in big.
Overfrost there from Abbeddage, trying to run interference, but Cloud9 has taken over the 100 Thieves jungle. Ssumday trying to trade back, does have the TP ready. But C9 definitely interested in this Baron half of the Rift right now.
They want to see how 100 Thieves tries to navigate this part of the game. We were building it up like they had the better early game. They want to try and snowball, find a big lead. I think, obviously, that did not go to plan. But from here, it's about how can you adapt and find advantages. There, they're trading out. The Irelia, super strong. Ssumday has had a great game. He's now at 2 items. He's 4, 1, and 2. On the flip side, Berserker, probably the person you wanted to kill the most anyways, has all the gold. He's 4-0-4. He's the biggest threat. And so this dive comp from 100 Thieves moving forward in this game for team fights and stuff is about finding flanks, finding ways to blow up Berserker at the beginning of them. There is still a lot of damage from C9's side, so it's not like all or nothing on Berserker, even if he does get killed. If he drops a lot of damage down, it allows the Ryze and the Graves and the Hecarim to clean up. But that is, I think, what 100 Thieves need to be paying attention to around this Soul Point in 2 minutes. I think it'll be relatively slow pace until then because both teams can match the side waves pretty well with their 1-3-1s. And it's about when the Dragon's spawning, can you get vision down? Can you find angles? Can you force Berserker into uncomfortable positions so that you can actually get 100-0 out right away? Because if it's not 100-0, Aphelios does a lot of damage very quickly.
Yeah. Don't think you can win any fight where Berserker has significant involvement. And I know with all like the fun chanter stuff that Cloud9 were doing early on, Berserker a lot of credit for like pushing forward on Aphelios, which makes sense because like you have so many shields, you can feel fairly safe. Turns out Berserker just does that.
Yeah, Berserker and Winsome are very good mechanical players, and I think the only place they had struggled was maybe potentially communication during the laning phase with the rest of the team. But this game has been incredible by Winsome, actually. He's been all over the map. He's been where he needs to be. He's been playing the front line extremely well in a pretty difficult position, and you can see the benefit. He's 1-1-7. He's been all over the map, having near 100% kill participation. And same for Berserker. You know, he's the one kind of reaping the rewards when your support's playing well. He's gotten super fed.
Pretty good little combination there. You can see it's dark around the Baron because 100 Thieves are setting a trap. They want to check it, but Blaber with good diligence first off. Spots the people in the brush there, but Closer going in, looks for the kick, doesn't find Berserker. That is too far forward. Closer is going to give it yet another kill. And Berserker's now unstoppable. Fudge going forward, but 100 Thieves giving one away there.
Oh, Closer thought he saw some angle, but it was a little brute force. Felt like it was right up the gut for C9 there, and not able to find the kickback on the priority target. Gets interrupted there by Winsome a little bit. Maybe that's what stopped the combo from being as clean as he wanted. and goes down. That means it's an easy Baron start for C9. No smite available for the enemy.
TP in, Ssumday doesn't cancel, but he TP's in instead. Charm lands on the front line. Huhi going back through. Can they keep going? FBI does flash out of the way, but Summit's already taken out Huhi. That's one kill they need, but Berserker's still alive. And if Berserker's alive, you cannot win the fight. C9 still dominating.
C9 do get forced off the Baron, though, chunked low enough for 100 Thieves to cause it to be an even fight, or not even fight, excuse me, but force off the Baron. But that means that they can actually flip their control down to the bot side now. They realm warp down to the river with Dragon spawning in 2 seconds. They should be able to grab this one freely. Don't think there's any way for Closer to get onto the Rift and try and smite steal this.
Yeah, Closer's here. The Hex Gates are open, but nothing Closer can do. There's plenty of DPS with that Aphelios here on the Cloud9 side, so they will take the Hextech Soul.
Yeah, that's a huge win still for Cloud9. Forced off the Baron, but still coming out way ahead. Finding the kills, finding that objective now means that when they do set up on the Baron, which should be their next priority, it's going to be a lot harder for 100 Thieves, because if they get tagged with any ranged ability, suddenly it's an easy turn for Cloud9 and engage.
Well, there is one goal. We'll talk about it in a moment here as we watch this Baron defense here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is a situation where Summit gets chunked out right away, but then gets behind Winsome, who again is just going to be this big, beefy cow in the way. Huhi goes in, and they're going to kill him fairly easily. Blaber's also buying a lot of protection for the rest of his team, and you know, the Irelia just gets deleted if she gets focused down without any setup from the rest of her team. So while he went in to find that cleanup kill on the Winsome, definitely sacrificed himself to do so.
Yeah, and you can see Berserk's numbers only going up here in this game, almost level 16 as well, as C9 are right back to Baron. Blaber is like, I see these wards, I'll figure them out later. In fact, I don't care. I don't even see them. Oh, they're off. That's why. There's a control ward there.
Yeah, well, I think they saw a lot of people down the bot river here, so 100 Thieves are in a bad spot.
Blaber goes in, Closer goes down, Berserker is godlike, and C9 are back to Baron. Now 100 Thieves don't have a jungler.
Yeah, they're going to just go reforce back onto the Baron here. I think 100 Thieves are trying to set up a shadow play in the bot lane where you have both solo laners together, and C9 saw that they were not in position, and just forced on the Baron and picked off Closer. Now they're going to start it again.
All right, you have to kill Berserker. That is the only way this game, well, this fight is going to be remotely close. You haven't done that yet. You've given the team the Baron as Winsome tries to find the angle, but it's just so much CC as Huhi's locked up forever. Berserker has gone legendary. Fudge just goes straight onto FBI, shuts that down as Ssumday will escape, but Cloud9 keep on rolling.
Speedy boy Fudge there running right past those traps, finds the kill onto FBI. 100 Thieves get taken apart at that contest, and now 7,000 gold in the favor of Cloud9. They got the soul, they got the Baron. They're probably going to get this game in the next 2 minutes.
Yep, pushing on through. Summit fancies himself a 1v1. Quick draws back in onto Abbeddage. That is a lot of damage. Summit's going to do it. The charm isn't enough, and Summit keeps on going. Lost shell straight into the back of Abbedage's brain.
Oh my god, brutal. Takes him out. C9 also grabbed the turret in the top side. Fudge fancies a fight.
Oh goodness, that's quite a bit maneuver. Gonna cost him a couple years as Blaber goes back through. It's Huhi here as well, but Fudge already got the kill. Blaber gets the second. Huhi's like, I'm out of here. I don't like any of this as the realm warp's gonna move Fudge closer. Blaber low on mana, chasing on to Huhi, but Fudge has got plenty of mana in reserve as Huhi's gonna go down as well.
Fudge knowing the limits of the Ryze. Like I said, has some more experience with it as a former top laner, able to bait 100 Thieves into thinking that was an overstay, but he is so fed at this point in the game. 5, 1, and 10. 3 items completed. There's no way, with how tanky he is, for the Irelia to chew through that entire health bar. So hard. The only magic damage threat is the Ahri, and like we said, she didn't really get off the ground this game, and so very, very effective game for the tank Ryze.
Absolutely. As you can see, Cloud9 up to now 10,000 gold ahead. A minute 20 left on this Red Bull Baron buff to look to seal this game. They don't have any inhibitors open just yet. That's going to be fixed in very short order.
They should be able to grab them. There was a little bit of time wasted, you could argue, with finding all those cleanup kills, but, you know, with an 11,000 gold lead, you can play with your food a little bit.
Summit just melee range into the turret. Hextech Soul means he takes a tower shot, but the newly bought Bloodthirster and that shield dome means he doesn't really care. And he's opened up one avenue of attack. Fudge is doing the same on the top side, and Cloud9 are strolling on through to the bottom lane. As 100 Thieves gonna have to defend something, but C9 are gonna make it awfully challenging.
Yeah, you have Fudge off screen in the top side. Just grab that inhibitor turret. Only one left alive is the bot lane.
And now Ssumday getting the ulti going through, but it's a 2v1. Ssumday's not winning that exchange any day. Already one kill for Summit, who he now caught again in the front side, and killed by Summit as Ryze CC comes through. Closer with a decent kick, but it's just not enough as Berserker going on a rampage through the back of the team, trying to find the ace. Last shot's good. That's the game for Cloud9. They will move to 6 wins and take down 100 Thieves.
Cloud9 claw their way to the top of the table, tying Team Liquid at the first place, pending the results of the FlyQuest game. We'll have to see. And this was such a good game from Cloud9. Every single member had moments in this game where they stepped up. It was Blaber making some plays in the early game, Winsome making a lot of plays as well, Fudge, Summit, and Berserker being the recipients of all that gold. And then in the late game, you see them mowing people down.
We even got some vintage Blaber as well. The good and the bad.
You got one play. There was one play. You know what?
That's one.
If you're going to give me 5 good plays and 1 bad one, that is a ratio I will take. Very happy with that performance by Cloud9. You can see it on their faces. Feeling good. 2-0 so far this weekend. They are looking really hot. I know a lot of people were concerned about this team after the departure of LS. What's their future going to look like? Are they even going to be fun to watch, let alone are they going to be good? And I think all those answers have been answered so far this weekend with a resounding yes.
Absolutely. Wasn't even the Summit show this time, although he did play very well. That was a really fun lane to watch, even in Blind Pick Graves territory. But FBI and Huhi could not get off the ground. Berserker and Winsome running the show, especially in the mid game. Like the 2v2 was like, yeah, whatever. It's a 2v2. Nothing much is happening there.
Yeah, and as much as I liked the Irelia counter pick, and it got kind of fed, it didn't seem to be able to do too much in the mid to late game. It was hard to get through the Alistar, and I can't necessarily fault Ssumday, though, because Closer, I think, had a bit of an off game. Didn't find too many plays in the early game, and then mid to late got picked off in some of the attempts that he was looking for. So I think for 100 Thieves, there's a lot of things that they can look to improve for that game. Still clearly one of the top teams, but I think Cloud9 has potentially asserted themselves as the second best or best team in the league, pending Team Liquid when Core JJ comes back.
And I think the nice thing is, like, yeah, there's all this, all this good insurance for the Cloud9 side. They're clearly wanting to play 5v5s, clearly happy to play later. This was a lot more early game aggression than you might have expected out of this comp, especially given the resistance they're facing in the early game.
Yeah, I thought, well, given the Hecarim versus the Lee Sin and the Ahri, I was like, oh, that's going to be a tough mid-jungle 2v2 to contest. Maybe they'll try and scale a little bit more, but Cloud9 showed that, we can fight at any point. Like, we have the players, we have the talent, we can actually pull this off. And that was what impressed me, I think, the most this game, was not backing down from the challenge, because, 100 Thieves drafted to challenge them.
Right. And again, I will just keep thinking in my mind, Berserker's a melee player. That's the only thing I'm thinking of. Like, it's very aptly chosen ID. Because he just goes in. I mean, when you're playing Aphelios, you have like 15 chakrams rotating around you. It makes sense.
I have known, we've seen Berserkers, Aphelios. We know it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This was confirmation of something I already knew.
Good.
I think the thing that I was most happy to see for Cloud9 was Winsome having a really good game on a different champion than we've seen him play so far. I think his Alistar was low-key, not the best player in the team, but like low-key a hero in a lot of those fights where he was the one that was absorbing a ton of damage, like that Rift Herald one early game.
Yeah, definitely a good look there, but it's now time to meet up with Blaber and Tigris, who are on stage for our Verizon post-game interview.